Hello everyone, my name is Emma, and just over a month ago, me and my dad were on our way back from kayaking, and upon bringing the kayak up to the shore, I noticed some very small fish up at the surface of the water. Upon closer inspection, I discovered these guys were guppies, and I was very surprised by this because guppies are usually found in shallow streams over here in Hawaii. However, these guys are in a big lake, and in this lake you find things like bass, tilapia, catfish, all the really kind of big fish, not guppies. You're not supposed to find guppies in a big lake. So since we were kayaking, I didn't have my phone or anything really to grab the fish with, but we did happen to find a metal tray, so I grabbed the metal tray and I walked over to the guppies and as far as I could, and because they were kind of in the shallow area of the lake, luckily, like I could just kind of walk in and not have to worry about swimming out to them. So I scooped them up with my hands and put them in this little metal tray. And there was 5 of them total. Unfortunately, 2 of them had already passed away. The rest of them were kind of floating at the surface. They were still alive, but at the very top of the water. And they weren't swimming very fast. I don't know if anyone has pet guppies, but if you're trying to net a pet guppy in a fish tank, they can be a real pain in the butt to catch sometimes. But these guys, I could scoop them up with my hands and put them in the tray, which shows something was very wrong. Once I was able to get the guppies contained, I was able to get a closer look at them. Upon inspection, I noticed that they were fancy guppies, just like the ones you find in a pet store. You can find guppies here in the wild, however they have a completely different patterning on them compared to the fancy guppies. Their tail length is also going to be different. Also, all the guppies I found were all females, and I feel like if they were wild guppies, there probably should have been a 50-50 female to male ratio. The odds of finding only females is kind of unusual. So it's my belief that someone was either possibly using these guppies as fish baits, or someone just had their aquarium fish and just dumped them into the lake thinking they would be fine. Or maybe they didn't think they would be fine and they didn't care. But either way, these guppies definitely weren't supposed to be there. Once I got the guppies home, I put them into one of my 1 gallons so I could take a better look at them through a glass container. They all seemed relatively good in condition. I didn't notice any fin rot or ulcerations or bite marks. Their fins were very well intact. However, one of them was, for the first day I had it, constantly at the top gasping for air. The other 2 weren't doing this, and it was fresh water. I also had an aerator in the tank, so it's my belief that this fish just maybe was in the lake too long or got some other kind of damage, maybe to its gills that I couldn't see, making it hard for it to absorb oxygen. I'm not quite sure what was really going on with that one particular guppy. However, the next day it did unfortunately pass away. However, I tried my best. There wasn't much I could really do other than provide it with extra oxygen, and that's what I did. I put an aerator in there. It helped a little bit. I noticed about maybe a few hours after having that aerator in there, she was swimming around a lot more away from the surface. However, a few hours after that, again, it was right back at the top. After a couple of days, I was able to prepare a proper tank for these guys. I had a 2.5 gallon that I moved them to, added some plants, and plopped the 2 remaining guppies in that fish tank. I was a little bit worried about possible internal parasites. These guys, when I first got them, did have slightly sunken bellies. However, looking back, I think they were just malnourished. I don't know what kind of care they were in before, because after about a month of keeping these guys isolated by themselves, their stomachs did fatten up a lot. I also performed a fecal sample under my microscope from these guppies just to confirm that there were no parasites, because I was quite worried about that. There are a lot of parasites in the water over here in Hawaii, especially involving fish. So I did that examination. I didn't see anything. However, that doesn't completely rule out the fact that they don't have any parasites. Maybe I just missed them. So I am going to probably make some anti-parasite fish food one of these days. I haven't gotten around to it yet because I've just been so busy with my classes, but they aren't showing any signs of internal parasites, so I don't believe there's any rush to give them the medication. However, I'm just kind of keeping the fact that I got them from a lake in the back of my head and just acknowledging that there is a very strong possibility these guys could be carrying something that I'm not aware of. So it's been about a month now, and they are both doing very, very well. They like to eat food like all fish do, and they just kind of do their little guppy thing. They swim around, they're guppies. There's not really much to say about them. I did add some other guppies from one of my other tanks to them, because they were in my beta tank previously, and some of the males and some of the females with the longer tails do struggle with the betas, because they can be a bit more on the aggressive side. So I thought I'd just move them in, create a guppy-only tank, still keeping the whole parasite thing in the back of my head, but I do think they'll be fine for the most part, and I do have a lot of the medications needed to treat the majority of parasites out there, so I'm not too worried. None of them are showing any symptoms of anything like that, and they're all very, very healthy. I've noticed some babies the past few days, some little baby guppies, so that's kind of cute. I'm not quite sure who the mom is because there's a few females in there now, but I'm happy to know that those fishies are doing good in my care. And I think that's just about everything I had planned to share with you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.